Could an injury to a promising rookie shatter the Los Angeles Chargers' hopes for this season? What could the newly acquired reinforcement mean for the immediate future, and could he be the spark that can reignite this team? A detail few have noticed may reveal where the Chargers' problem truly lies, not in their technique, but in their soul. And that's what we'll talk about today. When I say turnaround, I'm not just talking about the score, but about rebuilding of soul, of identity. The Chargers are experiencing a visceral moment, hope mixed with pain, plans thwarted by injuries, and decisions that change everything. It's that point in the season when fans hold their breath and wonder, is this the end or the beginning? And look, what comes next could show how ready this squad is or isn't to handle the pressure. The 2025 season started like a dream. 3 straight wins, the team's best start in years. But reality struck hard, to straight losses, one of them at home, and injuries that disrupted the game. In their last matchup, the Los Angeles Chargers saw victory slip through their fingers in a painful 27-10 victory over the Commanders, a game that exposed everything the fans feared most. Even so, there was brilliance. Keenan Allen, the eternal pillar of this franchise, became the fastest player in NFL history to reach 1,000 receptions. It's epic, it's historic, it's the kind of moment fans carry in their hearts. But it's also the kind of game that leaves scars. And before you continue, do this. Like, if you believe in this team, comment on your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to follow every chapter of the Chargers' journey. Here, we experience every play, every rumor, every victory, and every defeat like true fans. Back to the story, the numbers don't lie. Against Washington, the Chargers started off with a bang, taking a commanding 10-0 lead. Except the fumble changed everything. One mistake, one snap, and suddenly the game turned upside down. The Commanders responded with 27 points without LA scoring anything else. Ja'Cory Krosky ran like he was on another level, 111 yards to touchdowns, and the feeling that the blue and gold defense simply couldn't find an answer. Justin Herbert tried to react, tried to inspire, but encountered a wholly offensive line and a secondary that failed when it mattered most. And even on a day when Keenan Allen was making history, the 27-10 score Wade lead, the stadium felt like a slow-motion movie. Herbert's fumble felt like a premonition. His tense face said it all. The fear of seeing the tide turn. On the other side, Krosky accelerated, cutting through tackles as if the field were a free runway. With every yard, the Commanders fans roared louder, while Sophie Stadium fell into a heavy silence. And when the final touchdown came, the scene became almost symbolic. The Chargers staring at the scoreboard, stunned, unresponsive, a dramatic film no one wanted to see. And the drama continued off the field. The first major blow came to Omarion Hampton, the impressive rookie who is now on the injured reserve list indefinitely. He had 314 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 20 receptions for 136 yards, a promising start cut short too soon. And it doesn't stop there. Rashawn Slater, the cornerstone of the offensive line, is also out for the season. It's a heavy loss, both technically and emotionally. The latest injury report lists Keenan Allen as rested, Joe out with a compromised ankle, and 7 other players under observation. A list that worries any fan. Behind the scenes, the reactions were immediate. The front office went to the market and brought in Odafe Oweh, an edge rusher from the Ravens, in a trade that involved Aloy Gilman and draft picks. Oweh, who recorded 10 sacks last season, arrives as a ray of hope for the defense, an athletic talent who could be the missing spark in the pass rush, but with him comes the weight of expectation, and the clock is ticking. He needs quick adaptation, chemistry, and immediate impact. Gilman, experienced and versatile, is taking a different path, and his departure symbolizes how much the Chargers are betting all their chips on an aggressive and urgent adjustment. The scenario is one of rebuilding under pressure. The defense has struggled in decisive moments, but the problem lies deeper. It lies in the vulnerability of the offensive line and the unpredictability of it. Without Slater, without Uncertain and Hampton out, Herbert plays under constant risk. The running back rotation now depends on Haskins and the recently promoted Kimani Vidal, who is trying to seize his opportunity and prove himself. It's the kind of situation that separates promise from reality. Still, there's reason to believe Oweh's arrival could revive a defense that had been sluggish. The team needs to find consistency, transform talent into execution, and excitement into results, but there are risks and many. Oweh comes from a different system, and his chemistry with the Chargers' 2025 front seven is still uncertain. If the adaptation takes time, the impact may be less than expected. On the other hand, if he settles in quickly, the AFC West will need to keep an eye on it. The next game against the Miami Dolphins promises to be a turning point. A victory there could represent a psychological shift, stability, and a return to control of the season. The other hand, defeat could expose the cracks and turn hope into crisis. It's a test game, a confrontation of identity. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Odafe Oweh, they all know the weight this moment carries. And through it all, the fans remain steadfast, wounded, but loyal. Every defeat hurts. Every victory is celebrated as a rebirth. Los Angeles Chargers news doesn't live on statistics alone, it lives on passion, sweat, and an almost stubborn belief that this time it will happen in the locker room. There's pain and frustration, but also promises of a comeback. The flame hasn't yet gone out. Now I want to hear from you, fans. Does this team still dream of a Super Bowl, or are we seeing the decline before the redemption? The Chargers updates show a roster in flux, but is it enough to compete on equal terms in the 2025 NFL? Comment below with your thoughts, like if you're proud to be part of this story, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode because here we live. The Chargers highlights game by game, sweat by sweat. The Los Angeles Chargers are wounded, but not defeated. The road is long, the schedule is brutal, but the energy of this fan base is unwavering. Every fall is a chance to rise stronger. Every new name that arrives, be it Kimani Vidal, Oweh, or anyone else, is part of this rebuilding effort that the fans follow closely. In the end, all that remains is faith in blue and gold. See you in the next video, and may the bravest fighter win. The other hand could expose the cracks and turn hope into crisis. It's a test game, a confrontation of identity. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Odafe Oweh, they all know the weight this moment carries. And through it all, the fans remain steadfast, wounded, but loyal. Every defeat hurts. Every victory is celebrated as a rebirth. Los Angeles Chargers news doesn't live on statistics alone, it lives on passion, sweat, and an almost stubborn belief that this time it will happen in the locker room. There's pain and frustration, but also promises of a comeback. The flame hasn't yet gone out. Now I want to hear from you, fan. Does this team still dream of a Super Bowl, or are we seeing the decline before the redemption? The Chargers updates show a roster in flux, but is it enough to compete on equal terms in the 2025 NFL? Comment below with your thoughts, like if you're proud to be part of this story, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode because here we live. The Chargers highlights game by game, sweat by sweat. The Los Angeles Chargers are wounded, but not defeated. The road is long,